Let's look at women are invincible because this isn't our oh man, no more talk like I didn't even talk like a pirate day. I'm talk like a pirate day. This is not Louisa. Don't know why I don't have her name here. Maybe she didn't want her name on it. I forget. This is great student. How's that? Okay. So, and this is women are invincible. And here, well, let me just read and we'll see how she has more of a positive view of it. Because it is easy to kind of find that negative view all the time. And that is one of the things I want to emphasize is the media is not always doing these horrible things. There are moments of goodness. There really are. Now, we always keep in mind that if it is put out by a company, their bottom line is their bottom line, make money. And if they're making money makes us happy, if they make money from making us feel good, we have to keep that in mind. It doesn't make it totally bad. They go out of business if they don't make money. We understand how the market works. So it's just something we say, okay, they're here to make money, but it's an interesting message. So here's what she says. Women are invincible. Pam, non-stick advertisement. And she's looking at a print ad. So we'll get to see this. Most of the time, women seem to be portrayed in the media through beauty, body image, or sexual objects that are weak and vulnerable. In terms of personality, women are represented as nurturing, sensitive, affectionate, gentle, and dependent. Women have long struggled for equal rights, and many women have aspired to do more than stay home and cook and clean. Currently, advertisements in some way accurately reflect the true diversity of women's social and occupational roles than earlier periods. And a recent ad for Pam cooking spray is no exception. She just mentioned it, so she's not quoting anything, nothing specific. So again, like I said last time, that's where I feel like just when you mention somebody's name, you're talking in general. So you don't need to have that citation there. So once we get to the specifics. This ad works to appeal to women's multiple roles in society and the pressure they face to be superwomen. So that's her basic. She's saying this is what's being sold between the lines. She's already talked about kind of society and that kind of thing, and then in the end she'll bring it together. So describe it to us. Describe it to us. In an ad for Pam in Family Circle magazine, it's the name of the magazine, so we put it in italics. Notice magazine isn't part of the title. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, okay? The attention of the readers is captured by placing a gigantic electric grill on an entire page. On the grill is a grilled cheese sandwich with the cheese melting out of it and clearly sticking to the grill. On the gigantic grill, a well-dressed woman appears standing beside the sandwich. She is dressed in a sporty khaki skirt, a red blouse, and is wearing high-heeled sandals. Her hair is combed back in a ponytail, and she has noise-proof headphones on. With yellow construction gloves, she holds a large jackhammer that reaches all the way to her waist. Her facial expression demonstrates the hard, exhausting work she is carrying out trying to remove the melting cheese from the grill. At the bottom of the page, in the right corner, in large letters, it reads, "Pam helps you pull it off." And so here she has, one, she's done it in all caps because she wants the reader to see in the ad, they have it that way. And that becomes important. And then she has the ConAgris Who Makes Pam, 2010. And in that Family Circle magazine, it was on page 47. Author, date, location, just like that. So that's her description. Can you imagine it? Big grill, woman, jackhammer, cheese, Pam helps you pull it off. Very simple, simple ad. In the ad for Pam in Family Circle magazine, the attention of the reader is captured by placing a gigantic electric grill on the entire page. Now, the only page we have is 47, right? So anytime she cites, she's going to say 47. If she's just doing that general description, you don't need to say 47 every sentence. Okay, that'll just, we know so far she's only mentioned one thing. We know that's it. On the grill is a grilled cheese with cheese melting out, clearly sticking to the... Wait, I went too far. Okay, there we go, or I went back. The makers of Pam seek to appeal to working women. Nice, clear, simple topic sentence. That's it. Man, starting out with those very clear, simple topic sentences, one, keeps you as a writer focused, and then tells your reader, where are we going for right now? Different from other media advertisers that present women as beauty queens, provocative, and showing body parts to grab people's attention, Pam demonstrates a woman with character focused on being in charge, acting decisively with emotion, at achieving her task. So there she's saying, look, this is a good image, right? That we've had so many, not that the other images aren't okay too in some ways. I would say the sexual objectification isn't good, but in other ways, I mean, we are all different. But she says, this is good. Here's this woman. The Pam non-stick spray has been around since the 1960s. In the past, advertisers showed cookies flying off of cookie sheets or a fried egg sliding from the frying pan to the serving plate. As more women have been consumed with both family affairs and working away from home, preparing complicated meals for a family seem to be out of the question. All the hours in the day are hardly sufficient to perform the duties of today's women compared to the 1960s. I was fixing to go fix it. What was the mistake? Yeah, the extra, right? It is today, the women of today. So it's today's women with the apostrophe, but we don't need that one. Okay. I'm sure I did that. Okay. Life has become too complicated and goals have switched so that the woman is not only taking care of the family, but also being part of the workforce. Presenting this woman with a jackhammer in her hands speaks to the claim that Pam can help with tough messes and emphasizes the role of women out of the house as well as in. So she's saying, look, they're really acknowledging this. Now, she gives us this fact that Pam's been around since 1960s, and a whole lot of their commercials before were the cookies, the baking, just these very classically women's roles. She doesn't have to cite that because that is general knowledge. So what is general knowledge? General knowledge is stuff that just pretty much you could look up in multiple places over and over and you would see it. Okay, so we could look up on Wikipedia, we could look up on the ConAgra, the PAM website, or any websites that talk about the invention of cooking spray or different kinds of cooking oils, and they would tell us PAM's been around since the 1960s. You didn't know that before you read it probably? I didn't know it until I read her paper. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Excellent, 1960s. But we can look it up in multiple places. Another good, and the same thing with just kind of doing a general description. She's not citing anything from these other ads where she's saying they showed cookies flying, a fried egg sliding from the frying pan. Just these general examples. We can look that easier. It's like not just one place, it's lots of places. You look at a quote somebody made, yeah, that article may be in a lot of different places, but you still need to say it's this article. One other, and real quick, I'll get to you, one other kind of general information is something like, who was the first president of the United States? Come on. Washington, right? Most people know that. And you're writing for a college-educated audience, so you can put most people in your audience, college-educated audience, going to say George Washington. If you walk through these halls and you ask that question, is that the answer you're going to get? Over and over and over again, right? Over and over. Did y'all know that technically he wasn't? Yeah? Cool. You're like, no, not always, right? That's something not a lot of us know. I mean, if we look at it technically, there was this other guy, James something or another. I've looked it up before, but y'all can go home and look it up, But yeah, so there's another guy, if we look at it technically, who was actually the first president of the United States. That's something we'd want to cite because most people don't know that. Even now that you all know that, we are a very small part of this world, right? We're not most people. So that's kind of, when you think about, do I have to cite it or not? Is this common knowledge? Well, George Washington, common knowledge. American dollars are, predominantly green, common knowledge, that kind of stuff. Pam's been around since the 1960s. Can we find it place after place after place, right? Edgar Allan Poe, when he was born and died. Place after place after place. We don't have to cite that. If we find a source that says, no, they're wrong, he was born or he died this date and it's different, that one we're going to cite. And then anytime we use a quote from somebody or we're talking about a specific work and we're paraphrasing from it, we always cite. Mm-hmm. I would do what what I decided to do, obviously, because I changed this from MLA to APA, is unless if there's some specific quote in it, I would go ahead and cite there, right? I would definitely cite at the bottom. Now, the one time we don't have to put in that date every time is if she'd gone ahead and said something where we needed to put the author date right there. If you're in the same paragraph, you haven't mentioned anybody else, you don't have, and you mention, say you mention the author's name 2 or 3 times. Another thing Kavanaugh points out, blah, 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 he says this and that. Kavanaugh later goes on to say, blah, blah, blah. Finally, Kavanaugh says, well, the first time we put that date, we can put it, and the next times we can skip it. The location's still important. Well, when we look at, let me show you the example from the book, because I think, it's one to look at. And that's why I can't say enough about with this stuff about looking at the book. Oh no, not CMS. Sample. Oh no, Kelly, that's not what you wanted. Dang it. I'm sorry, I've still got down with sickness in my head. It's a little disturbing. Okay, so basic form for a quotation. I think it's right in here. What they say is, oh, I know why I wanted to look at the sample. I get it. Duplicate. Let's look at what they say, and then we'll look at the sample. Do not include the month. Both. Where do they put it? Like I've read this book before. Whatever. Too many times. Okay, so check this out. Here in this, and it's about childhood obesity. So here we have this paragraph, which, let's see, author's name starts with a P. Oh, or maybe it's the Carmona one. Yeah, here we go. Just this right here. Notice this. In March 2004, boom, date. Date and author's name can be in our sentences. The only thing we would not put in our sentences is on page 42. Don't put page numbers in your sentences. We could say in the did you know section, so-and-so points out, those are words. Just don't put those page numbers in. So in March 2004, Surgeon General Richard Carmona, so boom, there's the date, called attention to a health problem in the United States that until recently has been overlooked, childhood obesity. Carmona, boom, date. Oh no, but it's in the same paragraph and we haven't mentioned anybody else yet. So if you don't have anybody else in there, then you can skip doing that date. Just remember, APA does assume readers are pretty smart. Okay. If you just want to cover your ass all the time, is it okay to put that date in there? Yeah. The APA book says you may, which means you may if you want to. You don't have to. Okay. Did that get your question?
Like, more about the ads, though. So, like, for describing how the ad
Yeah.
is.
Well, it depends on how you. It just really depends on how you word it. So if you start off like with Louisa's, where we look at Louisa's, she's got. Wait, that's the Fat World, right? So.
It's kind of like in that one, though, like how the scene that they get out of the car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because see, here he does. He gives author date. And remember, with an ad, if it's a TV ad, we don't have location. And so that's why he skips the location, because if it's video, whatever, digital, however, if it's video, if it's moving pictures, then we don't have to do that location. So it's a nice little thing for, if he had, well, and here, even if he comes down and gives a quote here, I would just make sure it was clear in my words. Another thing Kia does is, or in the Kia commercial, the hamsters also say, I wouldn't necessarily feel the need to put the date in again. just because it's repetitive. It does, however, one of the things is building good habits. So like I said, if you just want to cover your ass, you just want to say, look, let me just get in the habit of doing this, you can always put it in if you want, okay? All right, so here we go. We've got the description, and she's done this first paragraph where she said, she had that nice topic sentence, they seek to appeal to working women, and she's talked about how here's what ads used to do, or specifically Pam's ads used to do, but look, here's what they're doing now. And so they are actually acknowledging that women do more. This ain't gold medal flower in the 1950s saying you need to bake and bake often to truly be a woman. They're saying no, women do all sorts of jobs, both in the house and outside of the house. And then she moves on and she says, women today demand goods and services that are making a home easier in order to live up to the myth of the superwoman. Using the words, Pam helps you pull it off. And I probably would go ahead and put this in all caps again since it's that way on the page. As a teacher, is it something that, it would depend. I mean, if you're working for somebody who's a real stickler, again, I'm teaching you to write for everybody from the hard ass to the most laid back person in the world. The hard ass, I would just double check all the details. That's what you do when you work for hard asses. I think I told y'all, first job I had out of high school, I had two different managers. There was the morning manager and the night manager. And the morning manager, Siva, man, he was picky about everything. And Floyd, it was a restaurant. He wanted things done right. He wanted them clean. Yes, you follow the rules, but it was a little more laid back. So I was always happy when I was working and Floyd was on. Yeah, that was good. Okay. So using the words Pam helps you pull it off implies a promise to women that they're going to get through their work quickly and easily without the hassle of having food sticking to their pans. And so, boom, there we go, author, date, location. We haven't mentioned that yet there. The myth of having to do the superwoman in the family circle still prevails, as does the idea that being a good homemaker is always the best and most important thing to do. So here she's just talking in terms of society, how she sees that. Women have been sold the idea that a woman is not truly complete or fulfilled unless she personally takes care of the family meals and the cleanup. So it might be nice to have one more sentence here where she, says, Pam is clearly aware of that and, works to provide women a solution. Women are not being encouraged to represent standards of perfection. Women are being encouraged to represent standards of perfections that are beyond reach. Women are more progressive than in the 1960s because now they can and do work outside the home, have their own ambitions and money, raise their own kids, or freely choose to stay at home with their family rather than being forced to. Now, women have always worked outside the home. In the stories we read of the aristocracy and the wealthy people, maybe not. But women have always taken in laundry, worked in the farms, worked in the fields, been maids, done this, that. So when we talk about women not working out of the home, that's when you have the leisure and you got the money to stay home. Right? So that is just a certain picture. Women now have choices. They are in control of their destiny and they have autonomy. Such choices have proved that they are capable of devoting their time to their careers and time to their role at home. Yet even though women have gone into the work world to bring home the bacon, the home world is still the place they are expected to do the bulk of the work. It's a well-known fact that working women still do the majority of housework. This ad for Pam offers a relief by implying it's easier for women to clean pots and grills and waste less time after cleaning a meal. As noted by Davis, boom, there we go, there's that date, 1992, media specialists, there's a little credibility, advertisers quickly learned that the most effective way to sell products was not through stories or plain facts, but through the creation of an image that appealed to basic human needs. And this Davis article has sections, so we have history of communication. The ad appeals to a woman's knowledge that work isn't over even after she clocks out, and her desire to lighten the load just a little bit. The ad also appeals to ideas of women's equality. This particular Pam advertisement brings back the memory of Helen Reddy's song, I Am Woman. I can do anything. I am strong. I am invincible. In the 1970s, hold on, let's see what I did whenever I did the citations on this. I didn't cite that because, again, remember, I redid all the citations here. So we did quote from Helen Reddy. I'm really feeling like I would be writing a question mark on my own paper saying, on here saying, where's Helen Reddy? She's in your paper, but she's not in your works, your references, okay? So I would definitely, now that I know more, now that I've done this more, I would definitely have Reddy, Helen. Oh, look what else I did. What the hell? What's wrong with that? It's not in alphabetical order. C didn't come after K in the alphabet. What the hell? I can't even do my alphabet. So I should have Conagra, Davis, Kilborn, and then have Reddy, comma, Helen, or H, because it's just going to be that thing. I would put, like we talked about last time with that gold medal flower one, I would go with the date of those song lyrics and then do the rest of the website thing, because I'd probably look it up from a website. That's probably where she was looking it up, right? Because she gives us a few more lyrics later on. So I would put the date that those song lyrics were written, because that's really what she's talking about it in terms of. So 1960, whatever. Oh, man. See how easy it is? It's attention to detail, detail, detail. There are two things that essays like this show you can do. One is that professionalism, and professionalism is attention to detail. Juggling many things in your mind at once, remembering, oh, I cited this, I use this, I need to cite it, I'm going to put the periods and the parentheses and all that stuff where it goes, I'm going to slow down and I'm going to do this. And the other thing is that you can take facts, ideas, things that you see, and you can make meaning. You can do that critical thinking. So it's about critical thinking, and then in terms of the format and all those things, it's about, can you be professional about your critical thinking? So clearly I got close. Oh, I'll be fixing that one too. All right. So I can do anything. I am strong. I am invincible. In the 1970s, it paved the way to today's outspoken, strong women. The song was an inspiration for women who wanted to do more in life than just be housekeepers. Such strength and independence is depicted in this Pam nonstick spray advertisement. The jackhammer represents a job that is usually considered men's work, construction. The use of this image creates a subtext. Ooh, nice using that word there, right? Subtext that communicates the idea that not only can women do any type of work they want to, but also Pam, and vicariously ConAgra, is a supporter of equality for women. In her article, Jesus is a Brand of Jeans, Kilborn, boom, 2006, points out advertising performs the same function in industrial society as myth did in ancient societies. It is both creator and perpetrator of the dominant values of the culture, the social norms by which most people govern their behavior. At the very least, advertising helps create a climate in which certain values flourish and others are not reflected at all. And then we have unnatural passion section. She puts the tab in here at the first of this quote, because the first of this quote is the beginning of a paragraph. So she's quoting that indention too. If it's not, she'd have scooted it over. So again, when we're quoting, and especially something like this, we're showing people this is exactly what it looks like. Now she's got to, oh snap, we shouldn't have that tab there, right? She's got to talk about that. This ad reflects society's growth and stagnation at the same time. Beneath the simple picture of the grilled cheese sandwich on the grill is a larger message. This ad speaks to the desires, pressures, and reality of women. Those women's rights and roles have changed drastically over the last 50 years. Women are still faced with the majority of household chores, the idea they must do everything, and a subconscious push to go beyond being human to move into the world of Superwoman. This ad from Pam speaks to all those desires and anxieties and is a good mirror for women in our new century. So there, she's not looking at it and saying, this is horrible and bad, and I think some of it is, but she's saying, this is a pretty good depiction. If we look at this, we can see they're going beyond just like she got to bake and bake off and to be a real woman. This is a huge step above cold metal flour, right? So that's one example of how you can, it's a good example of that written, that if you're looking at just a picture, an image, so how do you do that description? And it's a good example. I think what I really love about it is that she does have a positive spin on it, that she